The Tale of Genji. Firefly. Murasaki Shikibu. No-ho Firefly of Fangs Omo and Summer Night and Try to Learn. Crab Blue Pulte Fly. Akiko. The current status of Genji is very heavy but not come rushing up here, also busy as another courtier. Because was able living with a peaceful room. Each also to lovers who come to trust that Genji provide a stable it could be. Moreover, only princess of the pair was supposed to wear to the unexpected agony. The horrible Kesso of the superintendent of Dayu case also engraved together. Everyone because there is suffering never imagine was to have been added. Antipathy with the Genji was great, and if even did not dead his mother, also was supposed to be knew the sadness. Genji is also of suffering from more longing from confided, but also by Habaka catching not touch this. Just unbearable but came well when out to comfort the only heart. Only when you do not have too much of, such as wife near the Tamakazura was said Genji also be such as are reminiscent startled. Tamakazura were just only a Sukanufu of the gas because was to also cannot say reveal the rejected by, because personality was a bright cheerful Tamakazura, but their own is of such feel serious one in. It's still a charm, such as spilling come out from any. Such as Hyobu Lord of the Temple is made to know. As crazy about it became come in love with. Although not yet not been past as much long month. Is to come a grudge against to have become even in May of non-marriage month unless obtained even. Definite answer. After just grinded it rather than allow me to hear to little closer. And leak your mind you are in my Omo and I into the opportunity directly. Thereby would like at least plaything. The letter became right your thing Genji is read. Should I do so? Love to the wind flow man. Such is the temple. There will be only worth of try to stay away. It is better not say that such is not go to absolute. Og take time to time for your reply. And Genji but was teaching also with the write a sentence to say. I feel a kind of discomfort that overlaps in many layers. Tamakazura said when the mood is not written from bad. The here wife is the also not much a person. Such as an excellent aristocratic and out. Just because your prime minister that the really woman, the daughter of the person who worked the role of the prime minister of his mother's uncle was greeted sought out of was in unfortunate circumstances or shaped such as writing also beautiful. Even calm guardianship role because there was a person to be served. It was allowed to ghost writing for a return to the man of letters to Tamakazura is sometimes unavoidable. The person Genji is called was written for your reply to the temple and oral instruction. Whether Tamakazura say what they heard Genji is wanted to hear. The princess from when it was whispered in love with Genji, and letters to be sent with great information. Such as Hyobu Lord of the Temple. There is a view with a little interested. Without in because my heart is going to move to the better. In order to escape from the love of Genji. It is I think that is also one of the ways of pretending to be sealed with a favor to Hyobu Lord of the Temple. Even in this people are those that come out artful idea. Genji himself amused regardless know that you are trying to summon you a temple. The temple became profitable a reply that allowed the unexpected visit. To come to visit it fu unexpected conspicuous become your joy became. Conversation separated only Kicho by the laying thereof provided in the chamber of Sumato were able to Nisaru, or to an empty Kauruki of about Kokoro Nikui. Genji are mending the seat of the princess, not the parent, a man with a wicked love. Yet for the heart of Tamakazura was a man of points to be sympathy. From to the agency of conversations such as your prime minister is hiding without also feel that could be in rather better sunny Genji was her drawer in silence. 2 is the time of dusk. In the dark cloudy sky in the back, was also gloss become come sitting as the temple of their appearance to the Shimiyaka feeling. For so come of temple incense attending blow from the back of the chamber with incense also. Mixed to fall from the clothes of Genji was full of smell. Expected more high Hana feminine first temple. Which along quaint where came to you think? To become your narrative of the temple is a hope that calm sober. is not even intended to sports and will show you just passion was Kan's in grace. Genji is to have heard here interested. The princess had been lying is pulled to the east of the chamber. Genji, when your prime minister is going to come to the better have your word of the temple was saying Ju. It is too oppressive way. All is necessary to change the attitude depending on the opponent. And it is safer. Nor age your girls is shy. This houses, etc. should not gratuities, such as grapevine of the story. Voice is generous you're a little even if the do not come out to the place near the is the advice that say things like Tamakazura was in trouble. It should be noted that if the way from the use does not come closer to the buckwheat was in Fu, there was Genji not guaranteed. Did Tamakazura feeling the complex wabishi of leaves there at the kicho of the center of the room. More he laid himself in such a way. When the Stonehenge against long your words of Mia feel that is difficult to Tamakazura and is hesitant, and I think Genji is raised to the top only one sagging of kicho of thin come to buckwheat of wax candlelight, such as I think that if someone held out shown the purr. Tamakazura was surprised. Keepin prepared from the evening was wrapped in a lot of fireflies to paper Asuki-sama. That had been hidden until now. It is suddenly was out of the sleeve and the seal that Hikitsuru the kicho without casually. It was beautiful the figure of Tamakazura to hide his face with a fan in surprise that sprung up beside the soon abnormal light. Once it refers to a strong light the temple will also be a medium to your viewing. Just only so come to imagine that it would be good looks because it is his own daughter. To recognize both so much good person real it will not become Tae. It is that Genji'd look better in the thing without Seto to do the amorous your heart is measured. Such a thing Kurawashi good offices if was a princess of the biological child think that it would not be in. Genji softly went home as it exits from the outside of the doorway. Palace is the place where the first princess is that from which you guessed that it would be the neighborhood, because was closer than expected. Became come except the medium from between the kicho of thin while sported the excitement at the time, was to think you're interesting because sprung an unexpected light at a distance about a room. But it had soon light is fading. Yet faint light of the moment there is a suitable effect on the game of love. Slightly more did not appear. But not as a little big a princess of the beautiful was wearing the temple of your heart is. Sufficiently attractive bet Genji was successful. This show one of the people might omoi of insects. Not here. Rather than voices are not the anti-loose. It would have nasu, your experiment. Quote. And the temple became your say. I think not the one good feel for from his pondering along Odin reply of such a case. Tamakazura immediately. Voice this only is Naru omoi be firefly what words over Fuyori and Haze lame. Only told Fu not wherein. Also had entered toward the back. Mia became come said the resentment. Such is the result of receiving hostile treatment. To not to come until the morning so much sensuality Rishiku seems to want to do in the house. Wet cold takes to the eaves of the drop. From which you return to within dark. Cuckoo. Such as seems to be would have surely crowed. The author did not pry up there. Mia of your in their appearance of gloss places wives say so come similar to the Genji had. Award me. Such is the agony of Tamakazura as insidiously wives had been thrilled at the point where last night of Genji was the attentive care. Such is a mother. Tamakazura thought it appears the love that is given to the Genji of its own fermentation, on which was found the daughter to the father of the real. So much of the unexpected might passion not that it is not rather than to look good to be in a good people Genji with. Since it is now the daughter becomes a father. Both it will be the love of is how the public problems in Tamakazura is the afflicting the mind. But the truth did not think that the attempt to proceed to a such ugly relationship also Genji. Because just it was easy character to remember the love. Only the in is not harbored more than a love is pure father even for such nakamaya. Noble your identity while trying to move your mind to something of opportunity only I cannot. Reveal a love hesitation is into Tamakazura's if there is a point which is also friendly to nature. And see that such overflowing of gorgeous mood. And began dancing is mind you're holding. But it is going to be mixed things about think doubtful if you look at a person. I was trying to omo this person just beautiful love to the truly reflect. The air Tamakazura in the 5 days incidentally out to Baba temple Genji asked. How was? Since the temple it is suggested that you do not helpful. Endlessly approach the temple you come to much late. Because of a better risk. People who do not try to conquer the lover with a forceless eye. Genji saying that was cryptic admonition while also be harnessed also kill it and the like of the temple. But always is the case. It was young and beautiful. The color is also well as superimposed without their fix up thin on top of the gloss clean clothes. Does not appear that the Genji has been woven dyed and on the hand of man is wearing. If pensive there was no beauty of Genji Tamakazura I thought would be pleasing to the eye. Your letter from Hyobu Lord of the Temple came. Is written as a good character to White Asuki-sama. Beautiful look but is to become only to it just once written by the author. Is wept only the roots of raw old iris also defunct water hidden people who draw the room today. A length that is the came tied to the root of the iris of the more become record. I may leave your reply by all means today. Genji has gone keep in recommendation and the like. Wives were also in the mood to write Tamakazura itself without any reason so say by all means. Arohare Teidodo shallow also seen loose Kana Ayame is also not young cry is Karu of Nay. Girlish. It seems to have been written in faint only with Palazzo so come with an artistic home tastes like accompanied feel a little more profound in character was like now you think. Such as Kusudama made beautifully today come a gift from various quarters. Tamakazura that and when I was unhappy and now it is considered to be compared to such a thing had. Hope that most would like to finish without incurring the public notoriety if possible on this. Genji is closer also to the place of flowers Chisato wife. So you keep the prepared because Lieutenant General had said that bringing all the office of a person after a game of left Kanofu will come while still bright. I try anything Rei Shiku to deal that of the princess, which did not think, because of so come with Taurus well. Such as letter is to ask you also, such as young Prince Yi. Today, I like a good opportunity. Out of any person to the east of the palace since you will want to become come. Please be allowed to the Shitaku in such intention. Quote, and I was saying to Mrs. like, Baba Temple was not far away to watch from here transept. Young people may although sightseeing open the door of Watadono. In these days of left Kanofu by their fine non-commissioned officer. There are beyond who like a little palace circles officials. And Genji have her to say, my wife we were pleased to be able to the haunts competition of today. Such as Dojo also from more of Tamakazura's coming to see the sights. Miss passed wrist to Aoyaka to the door of the porch. The place where Kicho of gorgeous purple blur was erected much. Back and forth the wife of Dojo and Shimizuke was. Iris's piled pa, was wearing a coat of pale indigo blue was the Dojo of the pair of the West tastefully was familiar. Things had come for people. Shimizuke the beach flower color blur of saying to the pink color of the clothes. He had been pretending to like young leaves color of Karakuromo. This dojo is a dai-sama taste with sweat gen of Nadashiko superimposed on dark purple. Both are strutting in food that is not intended to yield to the other party seemed interesting. Such as young palace circles officials had showed food that attracted the mind towards the sightseeing seat. Genji in the afternoon 2 o'clock as was out to Baba Temple. Prince play as expected also became come a lot, such as the left and right combination. Unlike the competition of the imperial court of the regular, medium major general everyone to say. Some of the rather interested in these my events was of being seen. Where I cannot know whether the game is the determined woman. But to see that until Tenari is running around in the competition and very hard in the gloss-up costume was interesting. Since the end it was not extend to the side of the South Palace, such as younger wife as more purple wife had been sightseeing, on which there's a Sagaku such as Dakasaraku Osame so interest. The right also raised the Rakukoi instead of cheering each time also win left. By the time you finish at night I could not see well anything anymore. Is to Tenari are left Kanofu various Matoyatama with the arithmetic is issued. Much guess from getting to the faith is had to scare off. Genji were staying towards the flower Chisato. A variety of talk was signed with a wife. Hyobu lord of the temple seems that you're fine than anyone else. There is no regards as such as your appearance, but those of Koga and charm to such intercession of the body. In addition the variety there is a disadvantage to those who are said to be good. I will also look you have dandruff more of that person in your brother like. But had heard that well so come for a long time here. I have long ago I would like to know by the look up in the Imperial Palace because only look at your face today. Did not come to see us only as much of the king and without that time then I thought it was beautiful to contact it. Shaoshui Temple like regards you even goods like you're beautiful. That is hitting of this criticism Genji thought. But it was only had just smiled. Hana Chisato wife of criticism but it's lasted to other people. Genji its own opinion as well as the bad and good is not about to add. Made up to be with the flame. Because there has been a habit of sympathy to made up being seen worse. To hear you say is when the wife in person. Such as the deep things right generals. Not the one where there is a big deal. Is by, for example, to the son-in-law's Genji and would not be happy I thought want to deny but the mood to the table was not the current kimono. Mutsumajiku while his wife and Genji were to sleep in another bed. And what time from it became this Genji was a painful feeling. Hana Hirao Chisato wife is. But there is no such thing as get angry when he has been ignored by the Genji. Even if there is a gorgeous event in Roku join, that they've been finished in about here through the grapevine. Today itself and that there was a meeting at the Wasser wondering as it was in great honor. Irises today and have a cramp of NVL that stand in the frame also Sasame unexpected things and name. And Isama the wife said, it is a song not anything, but Genji was willing to shim the body. Should Hikabetsuru ho a shadow on the bird to Naraburu Wakakoma someday Iris in. And Genji said, meaning the word is good in it. Which is directly affirm the humility of his wife is a little sorry. All the time. But are not are you together with you. In this way to live with each other and the trust it is a good thing. For this people also say the play would be in serious tone Genji. Giving up the floor in the book table in Genji. Mrs. slept where across the Kicho. Since such negotiations as a couple was no longer the person that you are now and suits not. Did not the Genji also by force break their hearts. Rainy season was devoted to the people of Roku joined to the boredom of the rollers that are not also. Think that the time sunny and lasted longer than usual also copy a picture in novels. Akashi Mrs. gave us such as drafts and implements that were raised copy because there was also talent of such better to the princess. Young Tamakazura is much less interested with a novel. Had spent time in native copy every day to be read. Young wife that is suitable for work and opponent of these things were then have nothing people. Also in the novel that the fate of the curious case of woman are written in various ways. Aside from whether or not the fact, Tamakazura thought and not people who are there to be changed as much as was its own experience. Although Princess of Sumiyoshi's time is a matter of course that was still blessed with fate. Yet identification of should have been still respected after. Is read and where would be the wife of a lowly accountant had now one step. Scary of the audit it was thought. Genji said to Tamakazura anywhere in the also recently palace saw the novel compounds have been scattered pull. I think unpleasant. I'm something that was born to be fooled from person to not want noisy such thing as a woman. whereas told of the real is probably a little only crazily it in the know just to be allowed to assimilate to Sakuchute. On the day of the hot early summer rain, I to the right down without knowing also disturbed the hair. Quote, also with a laugh, I guess boredom is not doubt if there is to be read, but such an old story. Saw the place that is written seems the truth in each of the lie. The excitement knowing that the novel it will be allowed. Also pretty princess will be incorporated fishing, while I think also feel the shim in a little body and read and wear the musings. In addition or to the unnatural exaggerated there too. Also sounds like a bad of that cannot be denied that it is in the while I think the sentence there is a fun place as well. When these days is there of the children are heard is to read from time to time. Such as the wife in the transverse. But that there is a loquacious man. But I feel that I make a person who is accustomed to say very well lie. Is not that so? Quote, and say, if there is not. But people who accustomed to say a lie let there be construed to write with a lot of imagination. But, there is no think only with absolutely true. This says while Tamakazura is impelled to before the inkstone. I would speak of the novel the lack of refinement. Kojira that since was this world, such as Japan Osamu is not only a part thereof, will remain an accurate history towards the novel. And Genji was to say, even without saying, to reveal in whose biography, good things, people who witnessed the bad thing is, seen read beautiful thing and unexpected look, wanna tell future generations that do not have enough hate only one person is hurtin'. In some cases, to write that the only thought probably was started writing things that the novel no longer bear to. Good that it may be only exaggerated if going to say dressed alone net of the case. Also to complement the one extreme to write worse dress to a one, rather than at all that the imaginary. The beauty and disadvantages in any one of humans are piled it may be seen as a novel it might be. It also is different from what China of literature who wrote. Japan's also there will be that you are different from the ones and recently novel made long ago. There will be a depth, shallow but, to affirm it in which is the all lie not come. Buddha as there is that expedient also in the way that was to put your preaching in the correct. Your mind, not go humans. Such as in a way such as menstrual we think that will be a question and see it occur we especially expedient is often used in, eventually become all the same thing. Bodhishan as well. Earthly desires as the air is said that bad. That's it is written the good and evil in the novel there'll you hit it. So will be favorably speaking that what that thing everyone a pretty that novel. And Genji is to say is not novel was allowed to exist in the world. Still, do you have things that are written by me as too serious naive man in the novel is written of old things. Then also unsympathetic to the man who fall in love with you like that princess of the novel. Such as those of human beings away in. You know you will not have such a Shirinu Gowan. So novel that broke the mold of common novel with you lets that of me. Quote, Genji was whisper this to Tamakazura come closer to soon. Tamakazura says so as to draw a face into the collar. It is not to not push to the novel. It will spread to the world as to talk about such a bizarre thing. Do that thing unusual. That's right, my heart is throbbing in uncommon. Genji is to say this place snuggled to Hidahida. Child each class to avert the parent etc. wet fathom old after more than omoi, hinaki. Lack of filial piety has been preached in the very bad in France of the road. Quote, and Genji is to say, Tamakazura did not even attempt to raise the face. Genji said the displeasure while stroking the woman's hair. Barely Tamakazura's parent of mind it takes etc. wet fathomed the old marks on Jenny Nakari carry world is saying, Genji could not be any more of a mess around and feel embarrassing. Would if going to become this two people, Purple Mrs. be entrusted to Princess with still one person to collect the story. Taking in hand has become the picture of the frame story. It's the field that could very well, saying his wife were watching. Small princesses that has a nap in the foo innocent was to feel like the old self is. Like this one bad relationship in children each other cannot be skin immediately. Was a long time ago the speaking may rare monogata as I like as that in the model. And Genji said to his wife, it rare instead also would have been like novel that was written of these men and women relationship in front of the princess had better to not let read. Such thing as the daughter began to love it, but not bad. But is there such a thing in the world once? Because it is dangerous to be Shimawa think of it as a normal thing. Quote, from such close attention has been paid to the princess a biological child. The pair princess might blame I asked. One track, you will hate even had to read the woman that does not just mimic a certain type. Your Princess of Fujiwara Love Morail Stories is a character not a gravely by negligences. Likely, too much a straight line just in. Is I think the bad not written a woman to sister. When the wife says, as is that in the real people, forced through in a quirky monotonically. It is poor people who do not know to be irresponsible in turning. Only important daughter-parent was brought up eagerly with insights to just place childlike. Reluctant been a visible trace. Saw that it's like other cannot do anything, am sorry that also is despised until the parent and what you've education. There is something even better to seem that parents were brought up to say what if there is a daughter, such as seems to you the parent of honor. Be the woman that is tear me author of the award, useless novel that is not assent in what you say. Integrally with the boring people their loved ones do not want to award fit. Sayings such as, Genji was very hard to finish the princess into a complete woman. Since the novels were often stepmother is a nasty Mrs. to draw a picture or to photograph the only good thing was the selection to selection by omitting any such a thing for the princess to feel that show off the goodness of the opposite stepmother it was, or the Genji a lieutenant general was so as not to approach the residence of his wife, but had been allowed to enter and exit as to the place of the princess. Is the same also in the brothers of the child of a different mother while he is alive. Dead better to leave early so familiar and I think that from it is I think is that it can be loving to both. Bamboo blind of the parlor of the south side of the better of the princess the thing is was allowed to come into entering the better to have gathered the wives of the base panel plant is not allow. Genji a brother and sister because I was a child of only two people for the sake of Genji I had to take care. Since Lieutenant General was solemn there as the nature of the place was calm. Genji was the Kaizo Iaku of the princess with confidence. If there is to encounter maybe in a field of young Hinasobi. Lieutenant General because it reminded often when such a date that lived playing along with the lover. Sometimes even with a good partner role also for the sister was Shio it became feelings. It is subjected to say the play of love to young women did not absolutely be such as to tie the hope for the future. People like attracted the heart and went to one of the wife. It is regarded as a by force temporary target, was also not be allowed to proceed any further relationship. Even now respect the only relationship with a person that has been put to shame in green sleeves. It was impossible to think Gishi a person other than the person to his wife. Uncle Minister if Mazare eager first time about to be forgiven would also make for a married couple. But the time was Urameshika. That the uncle no matter what it was thought that might be married unless you implore forget it is. Did not. Kumoi to the place of Kali is also always sent a letter that was put mercy. Surface ice or keeping the last calm attitude. Brothers of this attitude also of Kumoi Wild Goose had a grudge against. Since Turmeric Lieutenant General to the mediator in the deeply loved of Tamakazura was only Mirko of Dojo. It was to ask to ally this Lieutenant General in unreliability. Things in is because it is a problem that is not accustomed to so enthusiastic people. Let Lieutenant General had to say the indifference and the like. Lord Keeper of the Privy Seal as if there is a child of even several people to the belly people. the exercise of political power in accordance with the personality of each of the son, as an adult, had to stick to free this man all suitable position, because the girls were the only geese of Kumoy, and which has been the negligence of Nyogo and the love that is a disappointment of the people lost the competition after less. The minister was not disappointed. This person did not forget the girl who now has also been Yan Mother, a song of Nadeshiko. Since it is about the story in the past, people would have to do. Because of the mother's personality is not news. The people was that cute had to be missing. Shall not be a bit too wise release such thing as a woman in it. Or would not then to say that it is his own daughter, while the Riraku humbly not think the disgrace of the parent, but still want the minister to come out because the good is wanted love. Also to his sons, if you have a woman that said, if such a thing, me keep listening careful, in which a self-indulgence love was also a great deal, and neither woman people had to just lightly opponent as its mother, but it a person who really love, and pessimistic by nothing, is not of shame to me girl one person a few had been rather maybe where you are. Quote, when I was talking well, but then it also had forgotten as much as in looking at how the Kashisuku a daughter to Fu excellent by others. None has its own daughter is often feel disappointed by the result is not as desired. These days is began to think the girl that broke up suddenly. When I saw a dream, and try not solved call a man to the good dream divination. For a long time to forget your child became come in. You do not have things like that will accept announcements of have you started as a child of a person or, and he said, man is made for adoption, but I not intended to be nourished in some people such thing as a woman. Probably has become to mean by that. And it from time to time the Lord Keeper of the Privy Seal was the topic that this at home. Thank you for your viewing. If you like, please subscribe to the channel. I am very encouraged.